Also, hi everybody, thank you for joining me. I'm just quickly setting up my iPad so I can see any comments, and today I'm going to teach you how to make something really useful for our craft room, and we're going to save some money at the same time, which is always a bonus. So I'm just setting up my iPad so I can see any comments. Hope everyone's well. Now today it doesn't matter what machine you've got, it's suitable for every scan and cut. Obviously my machine is an SDX, so it's going to cut a little bit differently, but you'll be fine. If you've got a CM series, you'll still be able to create this tool. So hello everyone, I'll just wait for a few more people to join and we'll get started. So I hope you're all well. So today we're going to be creating a tool to help us with our stamping. I'm quickly going to show you what we're going to create. We're going to start really easily. Oh, hi Suzanne, hope you're well. And we're going to create our own reef builder. Okay, it's really easy. It's a great beginner project. If you want to start creating your own files, and I know a lot of you want to create your own files and have asked me how to do that, so I thought we'd do something useful. So if you haven't got an SDX machine, don't worry, you'll be able to do it on the CM series. It's just the exact same, more or less, on the screen, or you can do it in Canvas Workspace. Today I'm using my SDX 135. So you would just plug it in at the back with a little kettle lead, and you've got a little tray that supports your mat. So you would just pull that out, and this is different from the CM series. We have a much sturdier screen now. I found that my CM series machine, the screen was a little bit floppy. So let's turn the machine on. So I'm just going to press and hold the power button. So I hope everyone's well and doing great. So the machine is just warming up. So I'll give it a second to do that. Going to tap the screen, and if you've never used a scan and cut before, the machine will tell you that the carriage will move to the initial position, and just to keep your hands away from the carriage. So we're going to click OK. And we've got our main screen. So today we're going to be creating our own patterns. So we're going to go into our pattern folder on the scan and cut. And we've got various subfolders. Okay, so I'll just show you quickly if you've never used a scan and cut before. Let's move you in a little bit so you can see better. Hopefully you'll be able to see that okay. I think you can see it okay. Can everyone see the screen okay? So that's better. So we have our basic shapes, and we're going to use this folder today. We're going to use some of these shapes. Okay, so there's lots of shapes to choose from, and these are great for creating your own stencils, and I do have some stencils that I've created that I'm going to show you a bit later. So we have another folder filled with subfolders. So we have animals, hobbies, scrapbooking or photo frames. So if you've got a scan and cut already, be sure to have a look through your various folders, okay, because there's lots and lots of patterns on there that are really great and that you can make good use of. But as I said, today we're going to be just creating our own file. Okay, so unfortunately I can't see your comments at the moment, But what I'll do is any questions at the end, I'll go through and answer your questions, okay? So let's get started. So we're going to go into our basic shapes. And if we have a look at our Reef builder, and I've just put it down, and this is how you're going to start deconstructing various things. You can see that really it's just made up of 2 squares, okay? So hopefully you'll be able to see that. Should have got some black card, but it's just made up of 2 squares. So I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to think about what size card I want to stamp on, and I want to stamp on a 4x4 panel. So I'm going to choose a square, and I'm going to increase the height and the width to 4 inches, and I'm going to set 2 of those on the mat and say set. So you can see hopefully that I've now got my 2 squares. So we're going to edit these squares now. So we're going to tap edit, object edit, and you can see that my second square is selected. Now if you remember the shape of our Reef builder, one of the squares is on a 45-degree angle. So this is our rotation button here, so I'm going to tap that, and I'm going to rotate this square by 45 degrees. And as you can see, we've got various options for rotating, 90-degree increments, 10-degree increments, or 1-degree increments. So I've rotated that to 45 degrees, so I'm going to say OK and OK again. Now we need to align both of our squares together. So this is our selection tool. So you can either select part of the mat or all objects on the mat. I'm going to select all objects on the mat, click OK. I'm going to go to Object Edit, and this is our alignment function. So I'm going to align. If you have a look just quickly at where the line is in relation to the little rectangles, you can work out for yourself what these buttons do. But just for now, we're going to align everything centrally on the vertical plane and everything horizontally, and say OK. And there's one last thing we need to do, which is to click weld. So now you can see we have our shape of our Reef builder, and I hope you can see that okay. So I want to add a square around this, so I can use this as a tool. So let's add a square. So it's really simple to add another shape. I'm going to go to Add, Pattern, Basic Shapes, and I'm going to choose another square. And I'm going to make this one about 6.5 inches. And I'll explain why I'm making it 6.5 inches at the moment, in a moment. So 6.5 inches, and say set. And the machine's going to tell me there's not enough space on the mat to add my square, but that's not a problem. So I'm going to make my square smaller, just temporarily, and say set. Now once we're back on the mat, if I go to edit and make sure I have that square selected and go to object edit, it's now going to allow me to resize that to 6.5 inches. And I'm going to say OK. So I've made my square a bit bigger on all sides rather than my actual Reef builder. So I want to check the size of my Reef builder as it is now, and it's 5.65 inches, so that's fine. So we're going to align these together again so we can cut our shape that we've created for our Reef builder out of our square. So I'm going to say OK. I'm going to hit the selection tool. Again, I'm going to select everything on the mat, say OK. We can also align with this arrow button here. I'm going to align everything centrally vertically and everything centrally horizontally and say OK, OK again. I'm going to go to Object Edit. Now I want to be able to scan in my shape and cut it out wherever I want to on my cardstock. So to make sure that both shapes move together, this is my carrier bag analogy. At the moment, these are in two separate carrier bags, okay? So we can move them both independently. So I want to put them in one carrier bag so I can move them anywhere at the same time together. So to do that, I'm going to select everything, Object Edit, and this button here is Group, or in my terms, put it into one carrier bag. Okay, so now you can see we have our Reef builder completed. So I'm going to say OK, and I'm going to save this file to my machine for use at a later date. And you'll just get a message saying, includes the group pattern on the mat, cannot ungroup the pattern once you save the pattern. And that's fine. I don't want to ungroup it. If I did, I could save it into Canvas Workspace and ungroup it that way and send it back to the machine, but that's fine. So I'm going to say OK, and it's just saving to the machine's memory. Okay, so we're going to start cutting. So I'm going to move a couple of bits and pieces out of the way. So I hope everyone's well. So I'm going to open the dust cover. I'm just going to pop you there for a minute, because I'm just going to put some cards onto my mat. So I want to give you another top tip for money saving. Now, on large shapes, when I'm cutting out a large shape, I never ever use expensive cardstock. And the reason is that the machine can cope perfectly well cutting out large shapes on cheap cardstock. It's only when you go to more intricate shapes that you'll need your core cardstock. Okay, so to create my Reef builder, I've just put some, you can use anything, acetate, a piece of mylar, piece of cardstock, whatever you want to use. So I'm just going to load my mat into the machine. Whoops. And this is an old wonky mat, and I'm quite tight on my mats, so I retack them all the time until they're very, very worn. So I'm going to choose my standard auto blade. If you have a CM series, you're going to create your Reef template in the same way, and you're going to work out what depth and pressure you would need. So this is about a 216 GSM cardstock. So on your CM series, I would try a pressure of 1 and a blade depth of 5. And that's what I would use on my Scanncut CM900. So I'm just going to scan in my mat so I can place my file over my cardstock. And this is why I love the Scanncut, because we can get the most use out of everything. But how quick and easy was that to create that file? Okay. So I'm going to say OK. I'm going to say select and cut. Now I have my auto blade in, so I don't have to worry about setting any depth or any pressure. And I'm just going to say start. So the machine is measuring the depth of the mat and aligning the blade. Now it's measuring the depth of my material, and it's starting to cut. So the reason I've got an SDX 135, this is an entry level model, but it has a large 5-inch screen. Oops. And I accidentally pressed stop. If you tap on something, it can stop the machine. But as I was saying, I chose the SDX 135 today because I wanted to show you the large screen. Okay, so that's all cut out. So I'm going to unload my mat. Well, I'm going to go back home. And it's going to say, is it okay to delete all patterns? Well, I've finished cutting and I've saved my file to the Scanncut, so that's okay. And I'm going to unload the mat. Now, let's see if I can just turn you down a little bit on the screen. So the way I remove my cardstock from the mat is I turn my mat upside down and I peel my mat away from the paper. Okay, so we get a nice so here's our reef builder that we've just cut out. Okay. So there's the cardstock, and we have the inner that we can use for something else. So I'm going to get my stamping platform out now because I'm really eager to show you exactly how this works. So you can see I've got some distress oxides ready. So hopefully I want to line this up just so you can see what I'm doing. And I am going to be getting an overhead camera shortly, which is all good. Oh, my organiser on top. Okay, that comes from a lovely guy called Walker Crafty Arts. They're on Facebook, so have a look at them up. But I'm going to show you something else before I go as well. I've got an extra mat support for them. Whoops. So I'm going to show you how the mat support works in a minute. So I'm just going to hold this. So I'm going to put my Reef builder just on my stamping platform. And you know what I didn't do? I didn't cut a piece of cardstock. So I'm quickly going to go back to the machine. So whatever size cardstock you make or you want to stamp on is the size that you want to start your square off at. So I did 3 by 3. So I'm just putting a bit more cardstock on the mat. That's because I'm all excited to start stamping and showing you how our DIY tool works. So let's load our mat. So my square was 4 by 4 inches. I'm going to say set, and I know roughly where my cardstock is, so I'm not going to worry about scanning it in. I'm just going to cut it out. So you can hear how quiet the machine is. So while I'm back at the machine, seeing as someone's asked me about the organiser, I may as well show you my mat support, which also comes from Walker Crafty Arts. Okay, so hopefully you can see that. And they 3D print these off. So you basically just put one in each compartment, and when you load your mat, I've probably got mine slightly, yeah, that's fine, you get a bit more support at your mat at the front. Okay, so that's something that Walker Crafty Arts have created for the Scanncut, and that's something I do tend to use quite a bit. So I'll just put them to one side. We don't need that at the moment. Right, so let's get out. I've got a stamping platform, so it doesn't matter what stamping platform you've got. Even if you use a CD case, that is all good. Okay, so I'm just trying to make sure we don't get too much glare. Aha, right, so I also want to share quickly with you another top tip that I saw online. Now, I watch a lot of YouTube, and I don't know what I've done with it, but I watch a lot of Jennifer Maguire. Now, when your mat is really too worn to be used anymore, Jennifer Maguire uses a lot of things called a sticky mat, okay? And it's just a piece of mat with a little grid on with repositional adhesive. And all I do is, once my mat is completely worn, you can see it's got all grooves in the back and I can't use it anymore, I stick a little bit more stencil glue on and I use it in my stamping platform as a sticky mat, okay? So I get a little bit more use out of my mats. Okay, so money saving. Now, a template like this on Craft Stash, and you have to stick with the size that Craft Stash obviously give you, or you can get it from other retailers, is £14 plus £3 post and packaging. So by doing it ourselves, we've already saved £17. Okay, so I haven't needed a square die. I've had a look. A set of square dies costs around £23 plus post and packaging. So already, within the space of a few minutes, we've saved ourselves £40 by using our Scanncut, which I like. Okay, so to use our Reef builder, I've got my sticky mat, okay, which is my old Scanncut mat. And let's find a stamp. Now, I don't have many stamps because I'm not really much of a stamper. But I want to show you how this works. So I'm going to just place a stamp in one corner. So I think that's quite a leafy sort of thing. So let's try, I love distress up sides, okay? So let's try peeled paint. I'm just going to ink that up. And it's a really simple idea. So let's stamp that. Okay, I need a little bit more ink. And I'm just rushing this stamping really because I just want to show you how the tool works. Okay, so all I'm going to do, and you can either rotate it left or right, it doesn't matter, is I'm going to rotate it. Have I done that right? Yep. So at the moment it's there, so I'm just going to rotate it so the corner fits in. So the corner fits in our diamond part of our Reef builder. Put a little bit more ink on and stamp again. And actually I quite like that effect. I should have put a bit more ink on, but I'm not going to worry because I like the distressed effect. So we're going to turn it to the right, and always turn it in the same direction. Whatever you choose, left or right, always start turning it in the same direction. And stamp again. And you can see our reef is starting to build up. So let's turn it one time again. So there's lots of videos online showing you how to use reef builders. And this isn't a new idea by any means. But if you wanted more ideas on how to use your tool, I highly recommend going onto YouTube and having a look. So I'm going to turn it again, one turn to the right, and you can see our circle starting to take shape. And I love stamping with distress oxides. I find they for stamping they give a little bit better result than distress inks. And I also use my distress oxides for inking backgrounds, etc. So I've turned out again, one turn to the right. Oh, in fact, I think I turned it 2 times, but that's okay. I can just turn it 1 times back, just to fill in a little bit I've missed there. And I'm just stamping on some cheap cardstock just to show you how it works. Although I will be using my Reef builder later on with some proper cardstock. So now I need to rotate this. That was there 2 times to the right, I think. Yeah, it was there. Just so I can finish off my last little piece. So the joy of using cheap cardstock is that, just for your Reef builder, is that obviously if you want to make multiple sizes of Reef builder, it's really cheap to do. So let's get another stamp. So as you can see, I have, if I just show you, a beautiful Reef. And I've just used this stamp, okay? So, I mean, obviously you can put in different stamps. You could turn your Reef builder twice and put a little flower in there, anything like that. So maybe we can add a little flower on the corner or something. So I'm just having a look at this little set of stamps I've got, which I got with a magazine. Yeah, we've got some more leaves there. But you get the idea, okay? So what I want you to do is go off and create your own Reef builder. Remember to start your square off with the size that you want to stamp on. So if you want to create maybe a 5-inch square piece of card, choose 2 squares at 5 inches, rotate one to a 45-degree angle and weld them together like I've shown you how to do. And basically you've got infinite sizes of wreath builders on your machine. So I don't know if anyone's got any questions. Oh, I've just seen one. Can I watch this back on subtitles? Yes, I think you can watch it back and put subtitles on. I'm not entirely sure of that. But if you've got any questions, is it Barbara? Yes, I think it's Barbara. Just send me a message and I'm always happy to help people. So has anyone got any questions about the machine or about the Reef Builder or any help that they need before I go off? So I'll just give it a minute to see if anyone's got any questions. Okay, so don't forget today we've saved £40, okay? So we've saved £26 on dies. Yeah, 23 plus postage, that's 26, and another 17. So we've saved over £40. Okay, so how about that? And I love it. And the thing is, once you start getting into creating your own files and totting up how much money you've saved, it's really addictive. Okay, so shall we do a couple of money saving tips? Let's do a couple of other money saving tips while I'm here. So another money saving tip we can do with our Scanncut, and I'm not going to do it today, but it's to create our own stencils. And layering stencils are incredibly popular. Oh, Lou, you always have to use pressure free. Okay. Oh, you're more than welcome. I'm really happy to do these sessions more often just to get people using their machine and using it to its best advantage. So these are just shapes from, these are, I think, 2 shapes from my machine. Okay, and these shapes are also built into Canvas Workspace. So I've created my own layering stencils. Okay, so if you think, you go and have a look how much a set of layering stencils are, and I'm happy to teach you how to do that. So I've got some various other sizes here of shapes. Okay, so I've got 6 stencils in this set. So imagine how much a set of 6 layering stencils would cost. It's got to be at least a tenner, right? So I've created my own, and this is how my stencil came out. What stencil film do I use? Okay, so if you want to be cheap, you can use just basic cardstock. You can use Mylar, okay, so you can either use 190 Mylar, 190 micron Mylar, or 125 for really fine intricate shapes. It's a bit thinner and easier for the machine to cut. I normally use about a 190. This is a 350 micron polypropylene, and I just got it from Amazon. And I think, no, actually I got it from eBay, and I bought 100 sheets. Guess how much for? Go on, I'll let you guess. £12, okay? So, I mean, you can imagine how much money I've saved on creating my own stencil, okay, by buying cheap polypropylene sheets. So this is created with the same stencil, or the same shapes, but just with my layering stencil. So you can see I got 2 different looks. and you can see I've got my layers there. So you can do different colours, but you can do this infinitely. You can do it in all different sizes, all different shapes. And my last money saving tip, oh, I've got two for you actually. Now, I love stamping with distress oxides and inking. And one of my favourite sites, apart from Maker's Superstore, is Craft Stash. Now, if you sign up to Top Cashback, okay, you'll get money, you'll get cash back off your purchases on Craft Stash. And if you've never shopped with Craft Stash before, you also get 20% discount, okay? And my last money saving tip, I'll just move you so you can see. Now, these ink brushes are really, really expensive online, okay? But if you check out my other page on Facebook, which is Craft Money Saver, I post in where to get the same things but at a greatly reduced price. And basically I've got two sets of these. I've got one for my inks and one for my oxides, but I have seen a set of 5 brushes and a stand on sale on one of the craft channels for £70, okay? And I think just this one set with the stand cost me under £15. So highly recommend having a look at Amazon. Highly recommend that you sign up for Top Cashback if you do buy anything from Craft Stash. Oh, you can use Quidco. Oh, I didn't know that. Thanks ever so much, Serena. That's a really top tip. Serena's just said that you can also use Quidco. So, just before I go, your Scanncut is your best friend for saving money. And I'm going to be doing lots of things showing you how to create billions of projects. Basically, anything you see out there, you can create for free or for very little money. So, I'll just see if anyone's got any more questions just before I sign off. And just also to give out a shout to my favourite place for scan and cut items. Of course, I've got Walker Crafty Arts and Maker's Superstore, who sell a brilliant range of machines and everything scan and cut. So where was our little reef that we created? I've put it down somewhere. I've made a mess in my craft room already. But that's basically about it. I don't want to keep you too long, but that's what we've created with our tool. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this live. I just wanted to do a little short one. So don't forget, go off and create your Reef builder, get some stamps out, and just use what you have, okay? Get experimenting with what you have. And don't forget, you know, enjoy. And thanks ever so much. Oh, you're looking forward to more sessions. Okay, well, we're going to be doing lots more. So I'm going to say take care, and I'll see you in another live. And if you've got any questions, just leave them in the comments, and I'm happy to help you with anything. So bye for now. Oh, you love my desk calendar. Oh, just quickly, yeah, that's something else I made as well. I actually made 60 of these over Christmas. Well, before Christmas. Okay, so happy crafting, happy stamping, and happy scan and cutting, everyone. Bye for now.